Welcome everyone, my name is Vermillion.TheBloodlyGod. We are back with another video as I teach you all how to be the best Pokemon battlers that y'all can be and masters at that. As some of y'all understand tiers, some of y'all do not understand tiers, and I will be the answer to your questions as I come back with the tiers and how they work. So right now we are focused on overuse. Overuse basically means how much that Pokemon has been used. And overuse means this Pokemon has been used over so many times. You've seen it on battles, but you've seen it in competitive battles. You've seen it even with your friends. You've seen it probably even in a ROM hack. And that is true. 9 times out of 10, ROM hacks are trying to be more consistent with being competitive and giving you a challenge, so you probably will see these sets run with the same items in some way in the ROM hacks as well as anything else. And anything too controversial, you know, you can always comment in this. You can comment and tell me if I'm wrong or right, but this is based off of what I've seen and my experiences, whatever. So as y'all should already know, Oreo is underused, rarely used, and never used, you know, because they're overused. There's no Ubers in this tier at all, so the items you see is here, you know. To be honest with you, Solomon's like, this should never be here, but they say it makes it a little too much powerful, so it won't be overused. You know, Solomon's is probably overused, but without its item, probably not. Lucario the same. They're probably, and you should already know Gengar and Kangaskhan when it comes to this tier as well. They're banned. They're more uber. They're very uber. So we got our common list. Among Us, Azumarill, Bisharp. I use Bisharp a lot. Chansey stays in here as it just has that power. It really has that stall factor and the power to just live in battle. Bellloom as well. Mega Charizard. Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, VTV696. My bad on that. That's my phone. Mega Charizard X is more underused in this tier over Mega Charizard Y. I've said that many times before. Probably because Mega Charizard Y has more team support than Charizard X, as it has me support. Me support and team support goes hand to hand, but team support takes up the majority of selections when it comes to I can boost myself up and KO a lot of Pokemon. Because even though Charizard X has that power, and with Dragon Dance it can obliterate, especially with this 130 attack power, with Drought you can help out a lot of Pokemon in your team and not only power up your own moves, you know. So under Charizard Y, but still one of my favorite, Charizard X. You got Clefable. Clefable has lots of stall factors and value in itself and power at that when its stats are boosted to the max. I haven't used Diancie or Mega Diancie, but I know that it can obliterate, especially as its stats can keep going up, and its speed. Not too many rock types have good speed and kind of a balance in some areas. HP could be better, but you know, those stats speak for itself. Dragonite is the forefront when it comes to multi-scale, so you will always see Dragonite. Escadrille and Ferrothorn I've seen used plenty of times in Pacific sets when it comes to Ferrothorn. As we look in this utility, it can just throw out spikes, it can Thunder Wave and just and Power Whip, bring you down to its speed and make you slower than it, or you can just use Protect and Gyro Ball and do the most damage. Now, never run Thunder Wave and Gyro Ball. Gyro Ball would never do anything. Gyro Ball would barely scratch the surface as the power it would do when your opponent is a lot faster than you. And we got Lead Seed. You will always see Lead Seed. And Uber. Uber within itself. How is this an Uber? Support. Gyro Ball, Power Whip. More Gyro Ball. Leech Seed. Toxic. Toxic is definitely okay. And as I stated out before, which I never said in a video, but I always say to myself when it comes to bulky, slow Pokemon, sassy nature comes in handy. Cofidrigas, Dusknoir, Dusclops, Duskull, all of them, when it comes to a sassy nature, they just can take hits and they can do so much for you. With Iron Bar in itself and lefties, Iron Ball takes some health away from your opponent while you gain some back as they already took some damage out on you. So we're gonna go back. Also, one of my favorites in the Oryu tier now, as it's probably going to be more used now than ever with the bold nature, as we have its hidden ability, Static. Static comes in handy more than Pressure, because you always wonder with electric Pokemon, like, the chances of getting paralyzed if you touch them, it happens. So now Zapdos can do it. Now Zapdos actually can apply that idea a little bit more, as it was more UU to me than anything. And Defog comes in handy. Rose, Heat Wave, Toxic, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, but you know, it has itself. Talonflame, we all know Talonflame, but I look at Talonflame more Uber in a way than Oryu, but with the ability like Glaring, it is definitely going to be used more than ever, as it gives priority to flying type moves. Acrobatics, without any items and a careful nature, it rips through you like toilet paper. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Brave Bird already tears you and blows you back, as it always goes first. But Acrobatics tears through you in a new light, as some when run bulk up to increase its defense, but at the same time, Sword Dance is used. Note to its Sword Dance. When you see different sets and everything, it lowers the Pokemon's tier. So if you don't see sets that are normally always used, that Pokemon kind of loses its tier value. As Steel Wing, did not see that. So Revenge Killer and Choice Bandit. So you can either use Tailwind, but you probably won't see Tailwind used unless you're trying to give speed to all your your whole team. You're trying to help out, especially with Glaring, as it comes in big part, as it always go first. So giving priority to those flying type moves. But if you do not see Glaring, Talonflame's Oryu rank drops tremendously, as that is primarily what is going to be used. Flame Body, unless you're trying to hatch some eggs, and trying to get that burn. But if you do not see this, the Oryu tier, it drops. It very much drops. Now, within the Oryu tier in itself, we have under tiers, as I was saying before, that a Pokemon lore, if you don't see the commonly used sets, it drops in itself. So Tangrowth, one of Pokemon that gained its Oryu rank in this tier recently, as defense is off the roof, 125. That is good. It can take hits. And with Regenerator, it's always coming back with health. Special attack is good enough to make it a special attacker, along with a well-balanced attack and HP. So it's living. It's going to live regardless of this. It's going to have good high HP if it's invested, which it should be. You should always add investments to where the Pokemon needs it the most. So Sleep Powder, Leech Seed, Synthesis, as you probably not see too often, along with Leaf Storm, and your special attack drops. But it wouldn't really matter to a Tangro if its special drops, as it can be a mixed attacker with knockoff, or you can just stall your opponent out with protect and toxic. If you don't even feel like using the sleep powder or the Giga Drain, but sleep powder is commonly used. Sleep powder, see, checks and balance, as it can also go down and rarely used. As I said, like Leaf Storm, you probably not see, especially with a modest nature, as you're giving more investments to special attack, which, mind you, special attack is higher, so it wouldn't be bad to see a special attack, but who wants to suffer, that special drop? Focus Blast, the chances of missing, Sludge Bomb, and Sleep Powder, but you probably will see Sleep Powder more, or knockoff, just in case, to get rid of an item. Then Assault Vest, Giga Drain. Giga Drain acts as that support move, so you probably use it more than the Leaf Storm, but Leaf Storm will probably take over the slot as it's rarely used. Because as y'all should know, rarely used movesets apply as well when it comes to this thing. And notes, I have 3 tabs open. We just got done doing the stream. Mind you, the battle stream was lit. I want to thank y'all. Also, we have Staryu. And as y'all should know, in these Miragon, this site will also be in the link in the description for you all as well. But when it comes to Miragon, they don't have all the answers to everything. So if you don't see that set commonly used or anything, but you see that Pokemon in a higher tier, if you see it in the high tier, as in UU, but that set is not that common, it probably is not UU at that point, as it has not been used. So one of our favorites when it comes to Tentacruel, I just said Tentacruel, didn't I? Scizor, my bad. Scizor, as it can also be Ubers. Bulky Sword Dance. So you got Roofs, Sword Dance, Bullet Punch, U-Turn, Knockoff, Superpower. I highly doubt seeing Superpower, but Bullet Punch and Sword Dance come hand in hand. Light Metal boosts its speed as you give more speed investments to it. Wow, it is going to Mega Evolve. Mind you on that. If it does not Mega Evolve, it does not matter. It'll still be or you, as this would be your common set. Knockoff would be more used than Pursuit, because the chances of, regardless of your opponent switching out or not, it doesn't do that much. It does only 40. So even if your opponent Pokemon does not switch out, it's not doing too much for you compared to a knockoff that does 65 and more when an item is being held. So that's one thing. Defog is used, but to me Defog is more underused than anything, as when you see an overused set on a Scizor, it's not thinking about support, it's thinking more about knockouts. But the support may be there to get rid of hazards, as Scizor don't really want to take hazards, as it can't really take fire types too well due to it being 4 times the damage. But in itself, what can I say? And one of my favorite dark and ghost types from the Horn region in itself. It may have some pretty boo-boo stats when it comes to it, but its defense and special defense comes in handy, and it can be pretty clutch if you add the right movesets to it. Utility, I don't see too many utility sublines unless Prankster comes in it, which, mind you, if you do not run Prankster, you're getting nothing out of Key and I install. So UU in a tier, but OU when it Mega Evolves. As knockoff, Foul Play. Well, you wouldn't run Foul Play with Will-O-Wisp. I'll tell you right now. Why would you not do it? Because this diminishes your Pokemon, your opponent's attack power as foul play feeds off of that. So it wouldn't go too well. So knockoff would definitely be more of a fit. Fake out would definitely be there as well. Toxic, if you still want to run status conditions, you could run Toxic instead of Will-O-Wisp and still get the foul play and get toxic damage. So that's one thing. Recovery is also there as well. Combine, I've seen a lot of Combine sub sets, so it's one of those things that why not, as you got Prankster, so you always get the Combine off. Will-O-Wisp cripples your opponent, as you don't want to take a play rough in case you're going against a fair type like a Ground Ball, because Ground Ball would annihilate Sublife. Recover just in case, and Shadow Ball, but also it's not too uncommon to see Substitution as well. So that's kind of an or use set to me as well if you see Substitution. But if not, it's more underused. And with the ability of Prankster, you got Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, Knockoff, or Snarl. If you see Snarl, and with a Calm Nature, it is definitely UU, or maybe even a little bit under, because you wouldn't see this move used unless you're in double battles. And I'll get into that as well. Right now, this is more towards single battles than offsets of doubles, mind you. If y'all are still watching and trying to get a little bit of insight out this, as that's the whole point of this, as we're just talking about some things in the UU tier, but the OU tier, but as you already learned, it depends on the usage of the Pokemon, and I'm gonna be brutally honest, some of these Pokemon are more underused in this tier than overused in itself, but still remains that title of overused. So shout out to that. Well, also, depending on their movesets, they go down in tier as well, especially if they're not using the one ability that helps them out the most, and that would be Talonflame, especially Talonflame. Talonflame is just one of that. Also, I can say the same for Skarmory, because if you do not use Sturdy and you instead you want to use Weak Armor, you're more UU, as Sturdy allows Skarmory to be definitely utility as spikes and Whirlwind and Taunt with the power of Roost comes in handy. Whirlwind as well, but I have not seen a counter. If you ever see counter on Skarmory, then I don't consider it UU. But this is just based on what we see in the fine print. Nothing compared to what I actually use. Mind you, this is all based off experiences. Everything I know, y'all all have experiences when it comes to your favorite movesets on your Pokemon, and the more uses that you even see in the Pokemon in itself. So in the comment section, that's your place to talk to me about this little section of what I probably missed, what I should probably talk about in my next segment. But I want all of y'all to be the best Pokemon masters that y'all can be, and with that, train hard. So VermillionBlood signing out. Make sure you smash the like button, as your support is always appreciated. And with that, let's make it to 300 subs, as that is our goal. So with that, I want to say